Solar energy is the newest upcoming way of fueling our society. Unlike fossil fuels, solar energy is all natural from the sun. The radiant energy is produced through light and heat. However, with anything new comes problems, especially when it comes to efficiency. The main issue of solar energy is how to maximize the efficiency it seems to lack. To maximize its efficiency, one must first understand how solar energy is made possible. First of all, can the sun even produce enough energy to power the Earth? Well, inside the core of our massive star, the temperatures and pressures are immensely high. Due to this, the hydrogen atoms are fused into helium at a rate of 600 million tons per second. This fusion reaction allows the sun to produce approximately 386 billion megawatts of energy. Of this energy, about 89,000 terawatts manage to penetrate the Earth's atmosphere and reach the surface. What a shame, right? Actually, the total energy used by all humans is 15 terawatts. Basically, there's 5,900 times more energy hitting the Earth from the sun than humans currently use. This is a huge surplus. We just need to figure out how to harness the energy. The most efficient way to harness all the sun's energy seems to be with photovoltaic cells. These cells are made of semiconductors such as silicon. The semiconductor absorbs light, and the energy transferred knocks electrons loose to form electric fields. Now let's see why everything actually works. Firstly, why are most photovoltaic cells made of silicon? The element silicon has special chemical properties in the way its electrons group. The outer shell of silicon has just 4 electrons, meaning that its atoms will always look for ways to fill up the last shell by sharing electrons. This makes silicon a prime candidate for bonding, which you will soon see makes creating energy much easier. A process of adding impurities or doping is used by bonding either phosphorus or boron with the silicon atoms. These added atoms have 5 and 3 outer shell electrons respectively, meaning that after bonding, there will always be an extra unused electron. It takes a very small amount of energy to knock loose the extra electron because they aren't bonded to anything, causing many more electrons to break free. Doping with phosphorus results in negative type silicon, and doping with boron results in positive type silicon. Both of these types of silicon are better conductors, and the two types have opposite charges, creating an electric field. Without this electric field, the cell just wouldn't work. The field is formed when the N-type and P-type silicon come into contact. Basically, the free electrons on the N side go on a mad rush for the P side. This attack forms a junction of electrons that mix to form a barrier, making it hard for electrons to get from the N side to the P side. When equilibrium is reached, the electric field separates the two sides. With all the electrons flowing, a current is produced, which naturally produces voltage. The product of the current and the voltage gives power, which is why we created the photovoltaic cells. To maximize the cell's efficiency, some problems must be addressed. Silicon is very shiny metal, which sends photons bouncing away before they've done their job. To fix this problem, an anti-reflective coating must be applied to reduce the losses. Lastly, the cell must be protected from the elements. To do this, a glass cover plate is generally installed, and the cell becomes more efficient. Now that it can be built efficiently, what can it be used for? Basically, the use of photovoltaic cells and solar energy is only limited to man's imagination. We can virtually apply it to anything that needs power to run. Many people already have solar-powered calculators. A lot of people also have solar panels on their homes for energy. Even cars are beginning to be solar-powered. But is that good enough? Yes, it's great. We want to use solar energy whenever we can for countless reasons. For instance, it will never run out, or like oil, be controlled by foreign powers. Also, the government can't tax sunlight. There is no pollution and, of course, no greenhouse effect. With solar energy, there are no more overpriced gas stations, no utility bills, no blackout panic attacks, and no ups and downs with the economy. It seems almost heavenly. However, there are some issues with solar energy. The main issues are different wavelengths of light, the material used to absorb the light, and of course the price. Light is naturally made up of different wavelengths. We can see this in the form of a rainbow. The problem with the separation of wavelengths is that they cause the emitted photons to have a wide range of energies. The photons with too low of energy simply pass through the cell as if it were transparent. On the other hand, photons with too much energy are not completely absorbed. The extra energy is unfortunately lost. These two effects together account for a loss of about 70% of the radiation first hitting the cell. This is easy to fix though, right? The gap of wavelengths just needs to be narrowed down with a material that absorbs a large spectrum of photons. The problem with this is that the band gap also determines the strength of the electric field, or the voltage. Too low of a voltage will cancel out all of the extra current gained from absorbing extra photons. The last main problem with solar energy is that it is kind of a long-term thing. The price of installation is usually higher than the price of something fueled by oil, for example. To make this transition to solar energy will certainly be better for the world, but it is currently a lot of money to make this dream possible. Despite these problems, maximizing the efficiency of solar energy will certainly help. To ultimately maximize the efficiency, photovoltaic cells are a must-have. Also, multiple materials must be used to absorb the most photons while keeping the voltage high. Lastly, the sunlight must be focused so that the energy absorbed will be a maximum. Let's start by understanding how to add multiple materials to a solar cell. Each material must have a different band gap to capture photons of varying energies. Stacking higher band gap material on the surface to absorb high energy photons will produce a much higher efficiency. Multiple materials will lead to multiple electric fields, allowing a very high flow of current. Since there can be many small band gaps, they all have high voltages. The high current with high voltage creates a very high and efficient power. The next way to maximize solar efficiency is by concentrating the photovoltaic technology. Instead of simply collecting and converting a portion of whatever sunlight just happens to shine down and be converted into electricity, you can use optical equipment to enhance the solar energy. Lenses and mirrors are great examples of the optical equipment used to focus greater amounts of solar energy onto highly efficient solar cells. In conclusion, solar energy has many different ways of being maximized. Efficiency is clearly the biggest issue, along with its initial price. Solar energy is definitely worth the effort because it is completely reliable and eco-friendly. Our future is headed toward a solar revolution for sure. We just need to finish up the maximization of solar efficiency.